Jennifer here, and I'm getting cozy in my comfy chair now. And story time. Um, I've done a video. I've done several videos over the years on my occult origin stories, and one of the things I've done a video on maybe within the past month or so are going back through my old, very early, vintage '90s collaged journals and stuff that I had, because I'm kind of trying to trace back, because one of the questions I sometimes get from people is about, how I got started working in the occult or my spiritual journey. And I've been sharing stuff from I think the one I did was, damn it, I left the book over there, but I had done a video recently on it, but this is the second one. It's not entirely all occult, because a lot of these journals were bad goth poetry, me ranting about things that were going on in my life at the time, and some of my witchy shit, and some of it that I thought was bad poetry or just weird poetry, just kind of like as I've gotten more comfortable in like channeling and how spirits communicate and whatnot, as I realized that I was kind of channeling some stuff or working with spirits without really realizing that I was. So, gather round, children, as I tell the tales of Dreaming in Symbols from 1994. I'll show you the cover of this. It says, the text on it says, preferred by witches, ghosts, superheroes, and ballerinas. I used to love doing collages from magazines. So, yeah. Most of my books, starting to wear a little, they have contact paper over it, which I'm sure after almost 30 years. Hold up. Yeah, 1994 will be 30 years ago next year. What the? I'm sorry. The 1990s were like last year. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think that like trauma kind of damaged my brain and the processing and passage of time. So this is called Dreaming in Symbols. So, by the looks of it, because at least I dated everything I wrote. So this was August 23rd, 1994 is when I started this book. And by what I wrote, I mean, this was without realizing it, something I'd written about Lucifer, like from the first times Lucifer had come to me. He always I just did this figure that would always come, like, that was very protective and would wrap their wings around me. But it says, balance between significance, my sweet prince, arms wrapped around me like wings. I, the eagle with a broken wing. That was a metaphor I used a lot. I'm not entirely sure why or what I mean. I, the eagle with a broken wing, cannot fly alone. You of the same way, minds connected by links to the past of yesterdays before. Balance like goddess to god. Eyes of smoldering blue, so beautiful the face, painted by a beautiful soul that no one knows, no one sees except me. I might pause in between things because not all of this is kind of relevant. But let's see. And also, I have terrible handwriting. Well, it's the thing that's been so interesting to me is going through these books is my handwriting is so different in every book. Like if you pick, I mean, granted, occasionally like other people wrote things in here, but like if you picked up any of these books, you would swear 20 different people were writing in it. So, let's see. This was also from August 23rd. Smashing away to be a lonesome cherub, shaking your blackened hair away from your lily white face. In a scream primal, I gave birth to the earth, all that is. I am yours in a way. Like sometimes they're just fragments of things that kind of So again, one of the common things, and this goes all the way back, is, and I still get these, is there's a lot of just random script and sigils and things that I'll just blank out and start writing, and I have no idea what half of them mean. I need a translator. Again, well, this is August 26th. I know I once knew you in years past, your soul, that is, my protection and your strength, my sacred one with wings instead of arms wrapped around me. Again, that's a Lucifer thing. And then I noted things are really weird. That's all I can say for now. And then I drew the sort of triple moon goddess symbol there. So yeah, things get like the way I write, like it'll start being like this kind of stuff. So I will try to translate. Chasing stars, and this was August 26, 1994. Chasing stars to be with you through ageless sexless time. Beings manifested infinity. I know you. Enter now, my child. Rivers flow endlessly in my mind's eye. Circles dance in the rain. Return to the birth, the place of the death. The circle cannot be broken. We all have the ability to fly. We just don't know we have wings. And then the handwriting gets even more messy and then sideways. Wings wrapped around like arms protect tight the eagle with a broken wing. That was just something that was just very like, if you only knew how beautiful your soul was, maybe you would be free of the chains that bind you to the emptiness. I can't make you be, but I can make you see. So this page is very neatly written, but not in language that I know. So this says Tia Samesha Tabuya im Etinsal. Tia Ti Samesha Garons Skiami Yo Patu Skost Ta Shamuz Buntga Tiem Shietel Gamul At Eva Eta Garu Siaspadu Ingle Pandi Tas Mados Semesha Am Grodance. And on the back of it, I've got some notes, but also I taped this in here apparently. Again, I have a lot of weird symbols and sigils. So at the top, it says Abendo, and that says Tashkent Som. And I guess I was looking up now. I have to remember this was 1994. We didn't have Google to type things in and see what came out. I had to go to the library and look up books and see what I could find. So I got variations of this Semesha or Semeshia. Yeah, I had variations of the spelling, but what I had found, the closest I could find was Shamash, which was a Mesopotamian god of sun, and Meshken was the goddess of birth, an Egyptian, which I had written as Tashkent on there. So I've apparently been channeling things for a very long time. I just didn't always know. I mean, how old was I in 1994? 19? Yeah, because I would have been 20 in 1995. God, I'm old. Semper di Crium Floriste. No idea. Okay, so now I need to go back. He already knows that his traveling soul must move on. The time is approaching. He knows. He told me when he was going to die. He said it was soon. He told me it would be soon. But how soon he did not know. He just knew. Why do you know you're going to die? I asked. He said, experience. Grow wings, my human form child. Grow wings and be strong and fly away to the land of eternal summer to be born again as my son. Okay, then. I call to you, my sacred winged one, to be my wings when I cannot fly to safety. I am the eagle with the broken wing. You are my king. And then, for absolutely no reason at all, says Osiris, Pan, Pluto, Saturn in a circle. In a circle, I'm your square. Find the piece to the puzzle and an answer. This was one of the ones that I found was interesting. Occasionally, I would scribble things in them, and this one, I think I may have shown this in the preview in the last video I did. It says, "I fall into the shadow of your bottomless pit." And, kind of judging by the figure there, the bottomless pit is a ritual that's associated with Abaddon and the abyss. And there's other mentions, I think in the previous video I did, where like Abaddon was one that had been coming to me around since I was a teenager. Just didn't know it was Abaddon. You are not who I thought you were, with wings without arms or disarm. I feel like for the first time that I am seeing things as they really are, not in details, but in meanings. Yesterday I sang a song from India. I don't know what it was, but it flowed from my lips like blood flows from a wound. Who are you, anyways? My sweet prince, all now with wings like a cherub lonesome, already forgotten kiss upon stained lips. You're still there, not something soaring, not something saving me, wanting me to save you. My wings have healed. You're still unbroken. A stalwart mindset, unwilling to fly. What is going on? Balefire of hope. Samson and Delilah. Chimera wrapped around the dogma of fashion. Spirit rekindled. Split-faced reality. Residues of last night. I'll stand by you in a circle of fire as stones the sea. Enter me like a doorway to the unknown. By tonight and I will see the darkness between you and me. Oh man, I missed that thing. Sorry. This was a sketch of something I made in art school. It was actually really cool. I don't know how to describe it. It was like a lot of wire and mesh, maybe burlap. I just made this like couchy shape thing. It's pretty cool. I think I turned it into a person. I think it was wire and screen. Don't know what happened to it. Silence scares me. Ain't that the truth? Broken similarities, disdain. This is in September of 94. Broken similarities, disdain, insignificance, foretelling of pain. The way of the past smiling deceptively behind a veil of long blonde hair. I can't be of you. The repetition. The circle is broken. Walking in widdershins to erase your face and close the circle beneath the pale sun and illuminated moon. Sometimes the similarities are uncanny. The past, the repetition of these circles we walk unknowingly. Time is before the history, yet again repetitive, like I said before. We are doomed to repeat the past. We are doomed to repeat we are doomed to repeat. We are doomed to. We are doomed. We are. We. And that's all it comes down to. Through the window there are trees. Through the window you are. Beyond the window me. Still we is all. But the conclusion to this past. Repeat, 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 repeat. So again, now we have a weird drawing. This actually kind of In the videos I did recently talk about the goddess Metropolis, looks a little bit like this. And this one says, in an abyss, I am the circle that has never begun and never ended. Doo, doo. This is just random. Oh, this is just a random side note of how Jen's brain works. Guayana means a pile of batshit. I love that word. It's the coolest word I've ever heard since my favorite word, which I think is the longest word, pneumano ultra microscopic silica volcanosis, which basically means black lung disease. I worked in a library in college, in our college library, so yeah, that was an interesting couple of years. So I apparently was bored one day and looked up. I was trying to find what the longest word was, and I think that was what it was at the time. But I would start every day by reading the obituaries and comics from the newspaper. Because we used to have to cut like things out of like back in the day before the internet, we used to have to cut articles out of the newspaper and laminate them, and have them kind of on file if there was stuff about, art crap or whatever, or someone famous died or whatnot. So yeah, I'm that old. Read me the obituaries. And this page is upside down. Stone to sea, spewing forth, thine watery goddess of the pure. I drown our love in watery tears, and Eric over me like the night abandoned in negative form. Okay, so this one, I think this is where it goes more into dream diary things. It says dreams, visions of the past, present, future, a doorway to the soul. And as you can see, these are things that were written on other pieces of paper that I glued into here. Da, da, da. Okay, maybe this isn't dream stuff. Just looks like random things. I wrote. Yeah, like I say, I was in a crappy mood, ranting a lot of times about how much I hated life back then. This is the last poem in this book. And it's not very good. Oh, dear God. So I am going to share with you what text messaging was like before we had cell phones. So, being an art school gal and writer, I spent much time in the 90s in coffee shops, and we always had our books with us to write things. And judging by the notes by here, and that it changes, this is my old roommate's handwriting, and we were just we may have been like a lot of times there were like open mics and poetry readings or something. So this was us just writing back and forth to each other because we couldn't talk out loud during the thing. This is what text messages were like back in the 90s. They were literally texts. We wrote them on pages. But did we have emojis? We may have, just not in this book. And now I don't know which direction this book goes. What else do we have here? Oh yes, we were at a poetry reading because I can tell by something my old roommate wrote. You are a crazy psycho bitch from hell. You have insurmountable problems with your lazy ass and screeching eyes. Apparently, it was a very bad poetry reading. I want to laugh really loud because poetry is so sensitive, and I'm too sarcastic right now to take these people as seriously as they take themselves. Yes. Yeah. It just gets weird. Yeah, it gets weird. And it just, goes all over the place weird. Um, well, Morrissey does in fact still write a course, so can't see what that is. Oh, look, we did have emojis. Messages. Oh God, I'm an old people. Back in my day, we had to walk, across the city in an ice storm, and that's actually true. I know. Anyways, the 90s were great, I swear. I really miss them sometimes. Anyways, that was part two of my reading shit I wrote that was kind of this was sort of starting, my early relationship with Lucifer. That I didn't know it was Lucifer. That would come much later. Yeah, so anyways, I hope you enjoyed story time with Auntie Jenn and of Generation X. Anyways, I love you all.